Hello guys, welcome to my channel again. We are doing Nazism and Rise of Hitler, class ninth history, part 2. So in the last class, what we have seen is a sad story about Helmut and his father getting killed. And why was he getting killed? Because he was worried about somebody taking revenge against him. Who was the somebody? That was allies, right? After that, we've also seen what all experience does Germany get. So that rise of Nazism. Rise of Nazism. So, what is Nazism? See, whenever we hear a word of ism, whenever we hear a word about ism, suppose say Jainism, it is an idea, right? Same way, Nazism is also an idea. Now, for creating any idea, what did I say in the last class? That for creating any idea, there should be events associated with the idea. So, event 1, event 2, event 3, and there should be a person or people, right? So the example which I gave you is about Mahatma Gandhi. So what Mahatma Gandhi had an event in his life that he was being pushed out of a train in South Africa and he got an idea of dignity. For any human, dignity is important. That is what Mahatma Gandhi wanted. The same way, people of Germany are facing some issues. People of Germany are going through some events in their life so that they are looking for an idea. That was Nazism. So what were these events? So the first particular event was World War One. So what had happened in World War One? That is what we're gonna see in this particular video. So after World War One, that is, Germany was a very powerful empire in the early years of 20th century. They fought First World War from 1914 to 1918 alongside Austrian Empire and against the Allies. Who are allies? England, France, and Russia. All joined the war enthusiastically, hoping to gain from a quick victory. Little did they realize that the war would stretch on, eventually draining Europe all of its resources. Now we know that whenever a war happens, suppose say this is my area, this is my state. If at all if I want to expand my state, what does the state want to do? It wants to expand so that future they get more space and they get more resources, right? So this war has been expanding. Now in England, France and Russia, these people did not understand what were the nuances in the war and the war moved on. And all the resources of the state to use against the war is already depleted. Germany made initial gains. So here, against the Allies, Germany had made initial gains by occupying France as well as Belgium. However, Allies strengthened by US entry. So along with Allies, that is England, France and Russia, US entered the war in 1917 and they won, defeating Germany and the Central Powers in November 1918. So Germany had lost the First World War. So what was the event one which we are talking about over here? Event one was World War One, loss of World War One. See, what happens is when we are going to a war, we have to put our resources. That is, we have to put our money, we have to put all the human resources into the war. Apart from that, say if I'm earning 100 rupees per day, if the war goes on for a year, so I'll be losing 3,650 rupees per year. Along with that, I'll also be losing my savings. So Germany is in a condition where it has already lost all the savings as well as it has also lost all the capability to earn that. So after World War One, Germany is not left out. So Germany in 1914, the land has been taken away from Germany. All this land has been taken away by Germany. And there is some demilitarization. See, after loss of Germany, Allies wanted Germany not to fight back. So what did they do? They took away all the military weapons and also they dissolved the military of Germany after the war. Correct? Here, the defeat of Imperial Germany and abdication of the emperor. Who was a person who fought for Germany? It was the Emperor of Germany. Gave an opportunity for parliamentary parties to recast German polity, and National Assembly met at Weimar and established a democratic constitution with federal structure. After the emperor is gone, what did the people do? They met at a place called as Weimar and they established a democratic constitution with a federal structure. So, what is a democratic constitution? See, in India also, what do we have? We have representative polity, wherein people elect a person and we elect that representative on behalf of the people. He goes and sits in our parliament, right? So, what is this parliamentary system? Wherein parliamentary democracy is a system of democratic government, wherein the head of the government derives their democratic legitimacy from their ability to command the support of legislature, typically parliament. So, to which they are accountable, right? So, the representative is accountable to the parliament, and basis of people, he derives the powers from the people. Correct? Same way, in Germany also there is a national assembly which is meeting at Weimar. And deputies, these are the people who are getting elected. These are the representatives who are getting elected to the German parliament. And the German parliament is called as Reichstag. So there might be a 1 mark question. They may ask you what is Reichstag, so that you people have to tell it is German parliament. On the basis of equal universal votes cast by adults, including women. So here every person can cast their votes, including women. This republic, however, was not well received by its own people. So even though it is a good thing to happen, people are not receiving it well. Why is it they're not receiving it well? That is our second event, which is happening to the rise of nazism. So what is that event to? Here, Weimar Republic has been formed, but people are not happy with Weimar Republic. Why are they not happy with Weimar Republic? Because of this. Yeah. So because of the terms it was forced to accept after Germany's defeat at the end of First World War. The peace treaty at Versailles. There was a place called Versailles where the peace treaty has been signed with allies. Was harsh and humiliating peace. Germany lost its overseas colonies and tenth of its population and 13% of its territories, 75% of its iron and 26% of its coal to France, Poland, Denmark, Lithuania. Allied powers demilitarized Germany to weaken its power. Correct? We have already seen this. The war guilt cause held Germany responsible for war and damages the Allied countries suffered. Germany was forced to pay compensation amounting to 6 billion euros. And the Allied army occupied the resource-rich Rhineland for much of 1920s. And many Germans held New Weimar Republic responsible for not only defeat in the war but also disgrace at Versailles. See, as I said you, when we go to the war, all our resources are getting depleted. Apart from that, our land on which we work, that is also being taken away by the people who are winning the war. Now here, Allies have won the war, and many places like Rhineland, Ruhr, all this being taken by the Allies. And where will the German people get money to pay back the war reparations, right? So that is what is happening. So first event is World War One, wherein Germany has lost. Second event is failure of Weimar Republic to protect the rights of German people, right? So, what were the effects of this war? This war had very devastating impact on the entire continent, that is entire Europe, psychologically, that is mentally as well as financially. From a continent of creditors, meaning Europe was a continent which used to give money on loans, but now they have become debtors, meaning they are taking the money from others. Unfortunately, the infant Weimar Republic was made to pay the sins of old empire. So, which was the old empire? Germany was an old empire, which was being ruled by a monarch. But who is paying the war reparations now? Weimar Republic is paying the war reparations. Who is paying it? Weimar Republic is paying the war reparations. That is the new after losing Weimar Republic is formed, and they are paying back whatever the German Empire had done. Republic carried the burden of war guilt and national humiliation and was financially crippled by being forced to pay compensations. Those who supported Weimar Republic mainly socialist, Catholics, and Democrats. So here, Weimar Republic is being supported by whom? It is being supported by socialist, Catholics who are Christians, and Democrats who want democracy. So probably people wouldn't be knowing about socialism. See, socialism is a kind of theory wherein suppose say a state gets 100 rupees and there are three people A, B, C. Now, the highest contribution to the state in terms of taxes, if A is been doing, and he will be getting a larger share of salaries or any money. Suppose B is doing little lesser than A, then he'll be getting lesser salary. C is getting lesser. So socialism, the money which the state has is being distributed according to their contribution, right? So this is what socialist means, and became easy targets for attack in the conservative nationalist circles. The Weimar Republic is being done by socialists, Catholics, and Democrats who want democracy and they're working on socialism, all these things. Before only monarch was there. Now, either Democrats, socialists, and Catholics, these people are also not able to give back the rights for the German people, which has been lost in Treaty of Versailles. So they are being criticized. They are being criticized for not upholding the dignity of German people. Now they're called as November criminals. What are they called? They've been called as November criminals. They've been called as November criminals very mockingly. This mindset had a major impact on political developments in 1930, as we will see soon. The First World War left a deep imprint on European society and polity. Soldiers came to be placed above civilians. So we know normally whoever are saving us, suppose say a doctor. If a doctor saves us, then we will call him God. Same way, if at all in a war, if a soldier is saving us, we will consider him as a god. Same way, soldiers are being kept above civilians. Civilians are normal people who are staying in German territory, right? So the politicians as well as publicists laid great stress on need for men to be aggressive, strong, and masculine. The media glorified trench life. The truth, however, was that soldiers lived a very miserable life in the trenches. So, what is a trench now? You would have seen in many movies that whenever you go for a war, people hide in a hole. So, this hole wherein people are hiding, and if an enemy is coming, they'll come out and shoot, right? So, this is what they do. This is what a trench is. So, soldiers are hiding over here so that if an enemy comes, they can hide and hit the enemy out, right? So this life, the trench life, is being praised by many people, correct? But what is happening in this trench life? They're trapped with rats feeding on the corpse. Suppose say if a person is dead because of some issue or if he's been hit by a bullet and he's dead. Now, if this person comes out, the enemy will kill him. So here the dead body is along with him, meaning the rats will start eating him and the body will be stinky, isn't it? So, French life in actual sense, it was very bad. And aggressive war propaganda and national heroes occupied the center stage in public spheres. While popular support grew for conservative dictatorship, they had recently come into being. Democracy was indeed a young and fragile idea. So what some people are thinking in Germany is Weimar Republic, which is there, which is a democratic setup and which is parliamentary, is not working out. They have to go back to monarchy. That means they are trying to go back to monarchy in the sense they cannot bring back the monarch who has been already gone. So that is what they are looking for, a dictator, which is similar to a monarch. They're looking for a dictator. And their calling democracy was very fragile idea, which could not survive the instabilities of interwar Europe. So why is democracy not stable enough? See, when we have to take a decision of war in democracy, it takes very long time. Suppose say today there is a attack on Germany. Now, if a democracy is there, if there are 200, 300 people, we have to ask permissions of all 200, 300 representatives, then we have to come to a decision. By the time we come to the decision, whole of Germany will be broken down by the enemies. That is the reason we are not able to take faster decisions. That is why democracy was not suitable for Germany. So this kind of political system and political turmoil was happening in Germany. Now, comes political radicalism and economic crisis. Birth of Weimar Republic coincided with revolutionary uprising of Spartacist League on the pattern of Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. Soviets of workers and sailors were established in many cities. Political atmosphere in Berlin was charged with demands for socialist Soviet-style government. See, in Soviet-style governments, we have seen in Russia what had happened. In Russia, there was a dictator, right? So the same way here also there was a Spartacist league which wanted Soviet-style governance. Those opposed to this, such as the Socialists, Democrats, and Catholics. Who are those people? They were the people who are working with Weimar Republic. So these are the people who are with Weimar Republic. What is Weimar Republic? That is the government currently which is there in Germany, where Democrats are sitting and democracy is happening. Correct. So these people do not want their whole setup being replaced by a dictator. Met in Weimar to give a shape of democratic republic. The Weimar Republic crushed the uprising with the help of war veterans called as free corps. So what is Weimar Republic doing for stopping the rise of a dictator? Is they crushed over, meaning they stopped the people who are wanting a dictatorship to come, right? By using a force called as free corps. By using a force called as free corps. The Angus Parties later found that the Communist Party of Germany and the Communist and Socialist henceforth became irreconcilable enemies and could not make cause against Hitler. Both revolutionaries and militant nationalists carved for radical solutions. So here there is communism and socialism. Again, what is the difference between communist and socialist? That is what we have to understand again. Say the same example like A, B, and C were there. If a country is working on socialism, here the money will be given to A based on what contribution is giving to the state. The same way in communism, if at all, if the ABC are there and B is needing the highest money, he is needy. In communism, B will be getting the highest salary because he needs more money, right, for his family or for his survival. So this is how socialism and communism is different. And we know whenever 100 rupees is earned, if at all if A is giving more contribution to the state, and obviously he has to get more salary. But if at all if I'm giving to B, then A will be sad, correct? Because he is the person who is contributing more to the state. Hence, there is ideologically there is a battle between socialism and communism. And they become irreconcilable enemies, could not make a common cause against Hitler. Both revolutionaries and militant nationalists carved for radical solutions. So they wanted radical solutions. Political radicalization was only heightened by economic crisis in 1923. Germany had fought the war largely on loans and had to pay war reparations in gold. So Germany had to pay back the war reparations to allied powers in gold. And when we are paying in gold, they don't have enough gold reserves now, right? We are seeing another crisis, which is an economic crisis, right? What is the crisis here? Along with the events to rise in Nazism, that is, first one is loss of World War One. That is what we have seen over here. And second is Weimar Republic is failing Weimar Republic. And the third event now is what? The event number three is economic crisis. So in this economic crisis, people are not having anything to pay back the allies. So they're losing their gold. They've already lost the areas which they were getting money from, isn't it? So this depleted gold reserve at the time of resources were scarce. So there was very less gold, and these people are asking for gold back. In 1923, Germany refused to pay, and the French occupied its leading industrial area, Ruhr. So French, because Germany is not giving them gold back, French now they occupied Ruhr to claim their coal. Germany retaliated with passive resistance and printed paper currency recklessly. Now see, here people are losing their jobs because French occupied industrial area wherein there are so many industries. French people lost their jobs. And when they've lost their jobs, how can they pay for even daily necessities, correct? Now, suppose say if I have 100 rupees and some other person has 1000 rupees. Now, I need bread. Bread price is 50 rupees. Now, I'll go to the shopkeeper and ask for 50 rupees, but the need by the 1000 rupees person B and I'm A, he's also needing the same bread. Now, I'm saying the bread owner, the shopkeeper, that I'll be able to give him 100 rupees for the bread. But the person B will say that I'll be giving 105 rupees. Now, obviously, I don't have 105 rupees, okay, to get this bread. So, this bread has become 105 rupees from 50 rupees, meaning it got inflated. It got inflated. Now, the same piece of bread which was being sold at 50 rupees, today it is 105 rupees. Now, what is the government doing? Instead of giving me a job, government is saying, okay, I'll give you money. So it says, I'll give you 100 rupees extra, so go buy a bread. Now, when I go with 200 rupees, the same person, okay, if I give him 200 rupees, the person with 1000 rupees, he'll give 205 rupees and take the bread. The same bread, which was 50 rupees, has become 205 rupees. Here, the government is not doing anything so that it can increase the availability of bread or increase the availability of jobs. But instead, what they are doing, they are printing money. So by this, the value of money goes down. There is no value for 200 rupees now. Yes or no? So the same way, Germany's money, which is marks, which has been called marks. So now we have Indian rupees. Same way, Germany's money is called as marks. So that has been falling against the US dollar. Okay. By in the end of December, it was 988640. So such huge number. $1 is become so huge number, right? By December. The figure had run into trillions. As the value of mark collapsed, prices of goods soared. As I said, bread was value is increasing. The image of Germans carrying cartloads of notes to buy a loaf of bread was widely publicized, evoking worldwide sympathy. The crisis came to be known as hyperinflation, a situation where prices rise phenomenally high. Eventually, Americans intervened and bailed Germany out of the crisis by introducing Dave's plan. So, looking at all these problems in Germany, see what was the necessity for Germans to help, what was the necessity for Americans to help Germany. Now we know here Americans are there and Germany is here. Obviously, Americans were the part of allied groups who were asking who wanted the resources from Germany and they joined the war. Right or no? After winning the war, they also got some resources from Germany. Now, if they don't stop this, many people will start migrating towards different countries, like say Russia and England, France. Obviously, they may also go to America. When immigration happens, these people will start increasing their populations in USA or in any other country. So it was necessary for any of the allied powers to stop Germany, to stop the economic crisis in Germany. That is the reason they gave a plan called as Dave's plan, which reworked the term of reparations to ease the financial burden on Germans. But this was very short termed. Why? Because now Americans, okay, in America also there's a problem. So that was called as depression. The year between 1924 and 1928 saw some stability, yet this was built on sand, meaning it was not very strong. German investment and industrial recovery were totally dependent on short-term loans, largely from USA. This support was withdrawn when Wall Street Exchange crashed in 1929. Fearing a fall in prices, people made frantic efforts to sell their shares. On one single day, 24th October, 13 million shares were sold. This was the start of Great Economic Depression. So there was a Great Economic Depression in USA. Over the next 3 years, we have between 1929 and 1932, the national income of USA fell by half. Factories were shut down, exports fell, farmers were badly hit, and speculators withdrew their money from the market. The effects of recession in US economy was felt worldwide. So everywhere there was a problem. Why worldwide? Say you have USA which has been taking some good. Suppose say it is importing shoes from example India. If USA is importing shoes from India. Now in USA there are not much people buying shoes because they don't have money. Meaning the shoe manufacturer of India will not be having business, meaning the people who are working in the market of shoe industry in India will not be getting good salaries. So this is how the whole worldwide had an impact of fall in US economy. So Germany's economy was worst hit by economic crisis because USA was helping Germany, right? By 1932, industrial production was reduced to 40% of 1929 level and workers lost their jobs and were paid reduced wages. The number of unemployed touched an unprecedented 6 million. See, people are losing their jobs. As I said to you, here in India, people who are there in shoe markets, okay, they're losing their jobs because the owner wants to save money. And same way in Germany also, people are losing their jobs. On streets of Germany, you could see men with placards around their necks, willing to do any work. Unemployed youths played cards or simply sat on street corners, desperately queued up at a local employment exchange. As the jobs disappeared, youths took to criminal activities and total despair became commonplace. The economic crisis created deep anxieties and fear in the people. The middle class, especially salaried employees and pensioners, saw their savings diminish when the currency lost its value. Small businessmen, self employed, and retailers suffered as their business got ruined. These sections of the society were filled with fear of proletarianization. Now, what does it mean? It means that people are about to fall to a level where they are not having anything. An anxiety of being reduced to ranks of working class and worse are still unemployed. The only organized workers could manage to keep their heads above the water. So only people who are working in organized sectors, say example defense, right? In defense, which is necessary for the war or which is necessary for daily survival, like agriculture. So they were able to have their heads above the water. They were able to survive. But unemployment weakened the bargaining power. Big businesses was in crisis, and the large mass of peasantry was affected by sharp fall in agricultural prices, and women, unable to fill their children's stomach, were filled with a sense of deep despair. Okay, so this is the third event. What was the first event which we are seeing? The first event is loss of First World War. The second event which is happening is Weimar Republic's failure, and third is economic crisis, meaning people are not having money for doing anything. You can see what is the despair here. So all this is becoming very fragile for Weimar Republic to stay, right? Who is all here? This here the person who was ruling was monarch, and here it is Weimar Republic, right? So all this has become very fragile. Weimar Constitution had some inherent defects. So see, if at all, if the republic, that is democracy, is not solving a problem, then there should be any nuances in the constitution itself, right? So what was it? So it was very vulnerable for dictatorship. How is it really vulnerable? That is what we are going to see now. One was proportional representation. This made achieving a majority by any one party a near impossible task, leading to rule by coalitions. Another defect was Article 48. See, in India also we have such kind of an article. In India also we have such kind of an article where the president is given the power. When the president is given the power to impose emergency, to impose emergency, right? Even in India also we impose emergencies whenever there is a problem of external war or internal problems in India, right? Same way, Article 48, okay, it was given that president can impose emergency and suspend civil rights and rule by decree. Decree is a law. Within its short life, Weimar Republic saw 20 different cabinets. See, it was very fragile. In the sense, Weimar Republic was not stable enough, lasting on an average of 239 days and a liberal use of Article 48. Article 48 was being put every time, meaning mostly the rule was done by president alone, right? So here no decision making happens in the parliament. President will rule on its own. Yet the crisis could not be managed. People lost confidence in democratic parliamentary system, which seemed to offer no solutions. Correct. So these are the three events now. So which are the three events? First one is loss in First World War. Second one is Weimar Republic, which is not able to solve the problem, and economic crisis, which has been worsened under Weimar's Republic, where they're using Article 48, which is president's power to use emergency powers, right? So he's using that, and always the president is only ruling. So this made these all these three events together made Nazism an idea, which gave Hitler a chance to create Nazism. So that we will see in the next lecture.